Yeah, well, I'm just trying to work out what I'm going to do for today. As per usual, I'm a bit lethargic and having to push myself to get into it. I think after having, well, it's been two weeks because I had the 10 days overseas, and just got to push myself a bit to get into it. So I think what I will do today is look at getting this welded in place. And the other thing, I noticed that they put these little braces down into the corners just here and on either side. So I thought I might make up a couple of those to weld them in. And then the other thing, if I'm going to do what I've suggested on a previous video, where moving the hoses where the heater pipes come through over to this side, I probably need to look at making up something to weld in place in there. So yeah, anyway, I think that's what I'll look at today. It's rather a warm day today. I think I'll have the fan going there, so you'll probably hear what sounds like an aeroplane going in the background with that thing on, but it's not much of a bit of breeze around today. And today, well, it's the weekend of the great race, the Bathurst 1000, so I might knock off early this afternoon to see the top 10 shootout this afternoon. Unfortunately, the old Bathurst isn't the race that it used to be. Pretty boring racing in my opinion. Not exciting like it was in the 70s, 80s and 90s, particularly when you could actually go and buy the car that was actually racing. So anyway, that's life. I'm glad I was around at least to see some of that. Not like the younger ones, if all they ever get to see is this stuff that they're racing these days. It's pretty boring. Okay, so anyway, I'll give it some thought and I'll get into it. I think, yeah, as I say, I think I'll make up a couple of these little things and come back. Anyway, I've marked out and shaped up the little braces. So now what I've got to do, I'm going to put a couple of holes in them and use the dimple die machine, tool that I bought. So I'm going to put a 25mm hole. So I'll just knock a couple of holes in this. So then what I need to do, punch a 16mm hole. So I'm going to use the Christmas tree to just take that hole out a bit bigger. I don't know why, but the preview on the phone has decided not to work all of a sudden. But anyway, I've made up these couple of nice little pieces that are going to go into the corner right there. I've got them ready to tack in. So I might put the gloves on and start on tacking that in there. find my little hammer. And as I keep saying, this new helmet is just brilliant compared to the old one. You can just see so clearly now. So that's those couple of gussets welded in place, looking quite good. I'll just give them a bit of a touch up and a bit of a clean up and a coat of etch primer, and that'll be good. Okay, so I've got a couple of tacks on that. I'll just keep going with it. well, that's welded in firmly in place now. Just 2 welds at the top there left to go. I'll just leave them for now. But what I think I'll do is just chuck a quick bit of etch primer over that to keep the rust at bay till next week when I come back. I've got to just grind some of those welds down and tidy them up a little bit, but I've really got to give it away for the day. I wanted to watch the top 10 shootout this afternoon at Bathurst, but I reckon I'm going to be too late, seeing as how we got daylight saving. They're probably long started by now. Okay. So that'll do for now. We'll come back and tidy that up next week. Okay, well, it's Saturday morning. Well, to be honest, it's almost Saturday afternoon. I've been going here for a little while this morning. I've had a lot of trouble getting going. I think after having 10 days off, it's sort of I've lost my momentum, so I'm going to have to get my momentum back. And anyway, that last video that I uploaded, there was a couple of comments about the bracket that I was making up for here, that it was sitting a little bit too high, and they suggested that I put the bonnet on and check it, which, you know, I obviously intended to do before I finalised it. I thought that I had plenty of room, but when I put the bonnet on, it was actually, the reservoirs were sitting very close. So what I've done, I've actually chopped about 20 odd mil off the bottom of this bracket and lowered it down, and so now there's plenty of room. So I've just been playing with this a bit this morning. So there it is there. Unfortunately, it probably doesn't look quite as nice and tidy as it did, but anyway, I just got to clean it up a little bit more. So what I'm doing, and I've got this idea from a guy that I saw quite a while ago that had put a similar sort of a bracket on here. I think mine actually looks a little bit nicer than the one he did, but there's one on YouTube. If you type Mk2 Ford Escort reservoirs, it comes up, and I've got this idea from him where there's just I've got a couple of bits of round bar that I'm going to weld on here. Couple of bolts will go in through the top. I'll put a thread into them, and that will just mount down on there, and then that sort of makes it removable. So that's what I'm just in the middle of doing. So I'm going to weld them on now, get them in place, and then yeah, I'll drill them and tap a thread into them. So that's what I'm looking at doing now. Okay, let me just turn the fan off so I'm not competing with it. It's rather a warm day today, 33, which is about 92 Fahrenheit for those that aren't in Australia. But so anyway, okay, what I've done, I've got those couple of bits of round bar welded on there. I've drilled a couple of holes, threaded them. So now that goes on there. Bolt on either end. So that pulls down nicely into place. And insert those like so. Okay, so that's how it works. And might not look quite as nice as it did before I modified it a little bit, but looks fine in my opinion. And I'm quite confident that now, because I cut about 20 mil off that, I'm quite confident that we've got plenty of clearance now. By my calculations, we've got probably a good 10 mil above that one. Look, if worst comes to worst, I will sit the bonnet on again. You know, I could lower this one down just a little bit, but I don't think there's any need. And look, you know, I've seen what other guys have done on just in photos and on YouTube and stuff, and to me, I've got that plenty low enough. So I've got those reservoir bottles sitting there, and so I've mounted the pedal box there. Now it looks like the hoses are going to have to come out. It's a bit hard to see in here. The hoses are going to come out up through here and come around. So those hoses will come around and they go on at this point here. I think I'll have to change the fittings there so that my banjo, the hoses are designed for the banjo fittings to go on there. So that's easily sorted out. So that's another job done. So now I might go and have some lunch and come back and see what else I'm going to attack. Okay, well, as you see, I've actually welded the heater bubble on last week. I've got to tidy up a few of the welds, and I just noticed, now last week the GoPro, I lost some footage, it didn't record, and I'm not sure whether it was the recording of when I was actually welding this on, so I'm going to tidy up these welds. There's actually a couple of little spots I noticed where I need to actually just give them a little bit of a touch up with the welder. So yeah, I'll get into that now. That's what I want with the glasses on my head. Well, on a day like today, it's been a day, as I was saying, I struggled to get going this morning, and I was just starting to get into it, you know. I stopped for lunch, had a bit of a break for lunch, and I come back refreshed, and I got stuck in, so I've cleaned up all the welds around here, and there was just one weld that I hadn't done up top here, and I was going to do a couple in the boot that I've got to tidy up, and wouldn't you know it, I've run out of welding wire. So that sort of brought it to a stop. I was actually going to keep going and work late tonight because the wife told me not to hurry away from working on the car. So anyway, I'm gonna call it quits. But brake reservoirs are in place, and that thing's all securely welded in, and as I say, there's just a couple little spots I just got to touch up when I get some welding wire. So anyway, that's a bit more done. Lots done, lots to go yet, but that's good. So anyway, I might wind this video up here. I hope you've enjoyed the video that I put together for you, and just follow along with what I'm doing on the car. As I've always said, if you've got comments, feel free to comment, suggestions, whatever. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. That'll help. And I suppose we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.